Hi, in this video I will be talking about how I recovered from depression. So I was diagnosed with depression in around March 2023, but personally I feel like I've had depression since 2021 or even 2020. It was obviously mild in the beginning and then it gradually progressed to something that was pretty severe. So in this video I would like to talk about my experience with overcoming this mental disorder and how I overcame it and what factors played role in it: therapy, psychiatry, neuromodulation therapy, and social support, and everything combined. So at first, the first time I went to therapy was in December 2022. It was towards the end of my first year when I realized I couldn't take it anymore. I had realized that things have gotten really out of hand, and neither me nor my friends, let alone my family, can help me in this situation, and I need to seek professional help. So I pretty much at that time I wasn't in contact with my family, and it was a very aloof situation for me. But no one was able to provide me the support that I needed at that time, understandably so. It was definitely something that I really needed. I really needed an outlet. I did go to student support center. I'm so thankful that I did. I feel like it was one of the best decisions I have solely made myself in my life. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And I would say miraculously, I found a therapist that worked just right for me. Her way of carrying out the session actually spoke to me. It brought out a lot of my inner fears. I had to face the trauma that I had been suppressing in myself for years and years. It was a lot of self-awareness that came through it, and it was life altering, honestly. And it didn't come easy to me. It like for the first 10 sessions, it was nothing but me simply blurting out whatever I'm facing without going into the depths of any problem, because I was too afraid of what would come if I tried to go into the depth of. And my therapist did advise me or almost urge me to seek psychiatric help because she saw depressive patterns in me. And when she said that, the first time she advised me to go to maybe just visit a psychiatrist, I was in utter shock. I was taken aback because prior to that my sister had already been taking psychiatric help and I always thought that I would never be in her position because I'm just a happy person. A lot on the family, like we've already, like my sister's already taking it. I don't want to burden my parents with another mentally ill child. Luckily you get free therapy in my college, and yeah, so but I did see a psychiatrist, and I really like my psychiatrist. She continues to be a very empathetic, polite person. I feel like besides therapy, a lot of credit would go to her for helping me wade through the situation. I started taking medication, and Nexito, that was my main medication. And it's very hard to be compliant with medications. It's really hard to continue on with life. It's hard to even brush your teeth. It's hard to take a shower. It's hard to get out of your bed. It's hard to tell yourself that this life is worth living for. And so it's so, as hard as all these things were, it was equally hard for me to see my psychiatrist again and again. So I dropped out of psychiatric treatment. Like the day, I personally had a lot of stigma around taking psychiatric medications. Even though my sister was on psychiatric medications, personally I couldn't accept the fact that I needed it. I felt like I was faking it the entire time just for the sympathy points or just to victimize myself. Stuff like, I don't need this, I'm well enough, I just need to be more disciplined and I'll be okay. But I was unaware that there was a mental condition that I was suffering from. So that was something that was extremely hard for me to overcome. I skipped my medications, I stopped everything, and I distracted myself with whatever I could distract myself with. It didn't work out very well because I came just crashing down, and it got really bad for me at that point. I have talked about this in more detail in my another video about my experience in KMC Manipal. So yeah, I had stopped therapy for some time because I got really busy with college. And I joined second year and I got so busy with it, so that I gave my mental health a backseat, which wasn't the right decision particularly, but I was too young and amateur to know that at that point. And because of the decisions I made, and my mental health got progressively worse and worse and worse. Why did I say that in an American accent? But yeah, though there was nothing in my life that was serving me any purpose besides therapy. Then it was my birthday that my mom came to visit me, and yeah, a couple before that I had my exams, and I told my mom everything. Like, I am now, I think I might be struggling with depression. That my mom again miraculously pushed me to seek help, to take medications, to go to therapy. I think I was really afraid my mom wouldn't understand where I was coming from, because, as I mentioned earlier, my sister was already seeking professional psychiatric help, and she literally had to fight for it with our parents. So I thought my mom would just think that I'm being lazy or I'm being indisciplined, but my mom, she had her whole personal growth that happened over there. And again, I think it's just the perks of being a younger sibling, that I didn't have to go through a fraction of what my sister went through to get the help that we both needed. And so she came here, visited me for my birthday. Initially it was just a 1 week visit, but it's been over a year and I'm still with her. So that's when and the teachers got alerted that I'm not doing all right, I'm not attending classes, I'm failing literally all my exams. And the thing is, even my teachers were aware that I was a bright student, so that was not because of reasons pertaining to my disability to progress in education or my indiscipline. It was something else. So everything combined, that's when my vigorous treatment started with therapy. And there were phases where I felt on the top of the world, and like 2 months later I thought I was completely alright, but I did come crashing down. I thought I was completely alright, but it relapsed again. It was very hard. I would say the first 8 months of going through therapy, by therapy and like psychiatric treatment and everyone helping me around, it was very hard, because even with all the help, I was still not feeling okay. I was still, there was still like a void in my heart that was just, there was still like this inexplainable sadness in me. But so I'll tell you, I started with medication. The second time when I went around my birthday to my psychiatrist, I started with my medication, and I was on Nexito, Etizolam and Olanzapine. So Nexito is an SSRI. Etizolam, I believe it is an anti-anxiety drug, and Olanzapine it's an atypical antipsychotic, but on lower doses it acts as a mood stabilizer. So since my sister was already taking these medications, and being sisters, we probably would respond to the same medications. I started taking the same medications, but I didn't show quite an improvement. I was still continuing with my therapy, but I had a lot of hard times. And it was getting better for me, but at the speed that was kind of unsatisfactory. And I had a lot of pressure on me since I was repeating an academic year. It was like I knew that I had to show up to at least this one, to show up to classes, to show up for myself, and it was a lot for me. There was this research going on for patients who are not responding to their antidepressants, and I was like, why not? I'll go for it. So I started taking that treatment, and I don't know what it did to me. The treatment is called RTMS, like transcranial magnetic stimulation. So basically there's like a magnetic coil that they put over your prefrontal cortex, so it stimulates your prefrontal cortex, and somehow it helps with depression. And I can vouch for it. It definitely helped with me. I noticed within like 10 sessions there was a drastic change in my mood. I felt so much better, so much livelier. But Nexito didn't quite work for me because I wouldn't respond very well to it. I still had periods of persistent low mood, and so it was only TMS that really put me in a good place. So now my medication, I had a lot of change in my medications in the past 2 months. Currently I'm on venlafaxine, which is an SNRI. I think it's a level above an SSRI. So SSRI is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So there's serotonin. And in SNRI, there's noradrenaline. So I continue going to therapy. I'm kind of proud to say that I take therapy now once in 2 weeks instead of weekly. Unfortunately, I can't continue going to therapy in student support center because they can only provide you with so many sessions, considering the population of patients that's there. Now I take therapy from a private practitioner who actually did their post-graduation from KMC, so that's a relief to know. Another thing that I missed was social support. My psychiatrist, I think she was the one who definitely made me realize how important social backing is to go forward in life, not just as a depressed person, but just as just a normal human being. You need social interactions, you need your own community, and also your community doesn't have to be ride or die community. You can have your work community, you can have your home community, like, if you know what I mean. That was a hard pill for me to swallow because personally I was always the person that if I'm friends with someone, they're the only one I'll be with. The rest of the world doesn't matter to me. And that's not the healthiest approach to life. My psychiatrist made sure my mom and my grandma stayed here until I got better. So they're leaving in January now when my second year ends. And even though I was very reluctant with this decision because I thought it would be a great disruptor for my independence, but now that I look back, I was in great need of the support that comes from family, and your family can't always provide you with emotional support. Doesn't mean they don't love you. It's just like my mom helped, like just getting home cooked food can make you feel so much better. Like your mom looking after your things. Like right now my room is so cluttered and I know when I come back it'll all be fine. And at one point it might make me sound irresponsible, but the thing is, as a depressed person, every task is a burden in itself. So all of these, like, any help that anyone can provide, just a lending ear or just any help, it's like people, like we depressed people would really appreciate it. So if you know someone with depression, just ask them how you can help them. Don't put your mental health or wellness agenda on them. Just simply ask them how you can help them. And another thing that I would like to mention would be my teachers, my professors. They played a vital role in this. They made sure that I knew that they were backing me. They made sure that I knew that, and they made sure that I don't lose my confidence in academics, and that I just know that this is a bad phase for me. And they made sure to kind of protect me. I felt really protected every time I would interact with them, how they helped me, and that's why I feel so lucky to be in this college, because I'm not quite sure if I would get this experience somewhere else. And so yeah, along with antidepressants, RTMS, therapy, and social backing, I am here doing quite alright. So for anyone who's struggling right now, I would ask you to hang in there. I'm sorry that you're going through this, but if you have the access to, go to a psychiatrist, go to a therapist, speak to your friends who you're comfortable with. If your maybe try speaking to your family about your problem. Surprisingly, they would be understanding of it. Just talk about it, and don't let all your thoughts and your heavy feelings, like, don't succumb to them. Because as much as it sucks right now, it can get better. So yeah.